The question of goons that was raised by Jeff, whereas passing has raised concerns around political intolerance. Some say Homa Bay is a hotbed. I don't know. I don't come from there. But what's your response to that?
Homa Bay is tricky. Eh? You know, Homa Bay politics is almost the whole of Nyanza is tricky politics. But you see, Homa Bay is where, I'm sorry to mention this, the PS for Interior comes from. He's young, he's brilliant, and he's cool in his nature. And it is believed he belongs to Mrengo ya Rais. Then we have the ODM fraternity, who are really scared of any person getting into their space. Because you find they say we are democratic, we are it is Orange Democratic Movement, a movement of democracy. But at the same time, you hear them saying, this is our zone. That's not practical in politics. So what's happening in Homa Bay is that there's that fear of unknown. And I know currently, I don't want to support any person. I don't want to support the people in Orange Democratic or the people in UDA. I would want to be as neutral as possible. But I know there is a huge interest among our brothers in ODM to have the PS fired from his position. Because the position is a position of influence. And therefore, as we move towards 2027, there's that fear. If this person is still in this position, what would happen? I remember when I went to campaign, and then there was intervention at the highest level, that I dropped from my campaign process and come back to the service. The person, even after getting my letter, the minister then ensured that they were talking with somebody from my county who said, if this guy is in this position again, he may support a different person and I may lose. So that is what is happening in that region. I know there are a lot of problems, but I know people are trying to whip emotions and try to drag the name of the young man who is PS in this, but with a simple intention, to have him sacked, to have him removed from that position. And the reason as to why they are doing that is because of fear that this position is quite influential. But I don't think that should be any reason, because after the coming in of the broad-based government, everybody from both sides are working very well, and I don't see why anybody should be scared. But from what I've heard from the ground, is that there's that fear. So what we are saying, if a person is involved, no matter his position, killing someone is something which is not acceptable, but it would not be fair to drag any other person's name whom we think that maybe is not involved. But it's not about thinking. The way this investigation has been carried out and the person who pulled the trigger is in the hands of the police, and the firearm itself has been recovered. You see, usually, if Jeff, I want to, from my experience, if today I've sponsored that you be eliminated, and I have power, that person who has come to eliminate you, I'll also make sure he's eliminated before, because I have the power. Because if I leave him, then he will say, Owino hired me. So if I have power, if you have power and you have sent A to eliminate B, then you, the person with power, when A eliminates B, you eliminate A. But if you see a situation where investigation has been carried out transparently, every person arrested, they are able to speak, they are able to give information, then you can be able to tell that even if there's a hand of an influential person, then he must be a very thick person.
Charles, we were talking about Migori a moment ago, and the incident last week.
You wanted to go to the shoe incident?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I just ask
Before the shoe?
Yeah, just a quick follow-up to that. If all these political players have their security, quote-unquote security teams, Jeff reviews the term, goons, isn't that then a recipe for chaos?
Not really. These are just excited youth. Unless something extremely bad happens, like they are provoked, they rarely attack. The only cases where we have seen people attacking is like those cases of Kasipul, where we saw people cutting themselves with pangas, which is very primitive. I believe politics, people can disagree to agree, and that is why I say this was so bad. Even if you have disagreed, and from where I sit, whoever committed this crime must face the arm of the law appropriately. It's only unfortunate that we still have, we are quite tolerant on issues of hanging people. You know, our laws, we have become quite slow. I think for a very long time, nobody has been hanged for committing murder, because I think internationally human rights is trying to ensure that we get alternative means. But I can tell you, in countries where people get hanged for such capital offenses, people rarely commit such stupid offenses. And it is so bad that after 60 years independence, we can disagree politically, and then you kill your opponent. It can be very bad. Yeah.